All right, guys, I think we got a new possibly legitimate Pokemon leak on our hands on 4chan a day about 12 hours before the Pokemon Presents and the announcement of Winds and Waves and the reveal of the starter Pokemon. The starter Pokemon were actually described in this one post as a dog, a bird, and a lizard. And I've seen, I think it was around the same period, there were some more leaks that came out accurately predicting not only the types of animals that the starter Pokemon would be based on, but they also were they went in even more detail with Brout having a grassy brow or whatever. But what's cool, okay, this is what I want to talk about today. I would love to go through this, right? I think leakers have an ego, and sometimes they know one thing and then they make a bunch of other things up, and that's fine. But we're going to go through this because I think there's some really good ideas in here. Specifically, the gimmick. I love the gimmick. There's some cool new Pokemon evolutions that it discusses, and a couple other things. Professor Oak is coming back. But like I said, 12 hours before this Presents came out, and we got the announcement of Winds and Waves, they do accurately predict that the starters are going to be a dog, a bird, and a lizard. And they also accurately predict is the wrong word. They accurately point out that champions will not be available on the 27th. It will not be shadow dropped, despite what everyone else says. So that's the stuff that they got right. And then what's funny is then they go, info not in the Presents. And this is all the cool stuff that I want to talk about. I will say, again, just the caveat is these leakers like to take something that is real and then make something up. Kind of fun, but also I'm not holding my breath. But I do think these are pretty cool ideas. So first off, this is the Gen 10 gimmick. Rebirth is a new mechanic where once a Pokemon faints, it can be revived with an Omni Boost. It's an item-based mechanic, so they need to hold an item. Once they rebirth, they cannot switch out. Some Pokemon have special forms, which are called reborn forms. I love this so much. And again, this is so weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. I don't think anyone is expecting a new battle mechanic that requires the Pokemon to faint or to, it's confusing. It would create a precedence, and also it's creative. If this is fake, it is creative. So I want to give it credit for that, I think this is a really great idea. I think some people might say that this is a little OP. The idea of a Pokemon fainting and then coming back to life. Maybe like if it's a legendary Pokemon or something that's kind of busted, I can see how difficult this could be in competitive. But again, this requires a held item, right? And a lot of Pokemon I feel like are really good when they have a held item. There's a sacrifice there. You're still limited to one. And obviously, like any other gimmick, is it really busted when both people have access to the gimmick? You know what I'm saying? It's like, this isn't a one-sided advantage. I love this so much. This feels in line, like this gimmick, this idea of like rebirth. Every single starter Pokemon has an ability. Their base ability basically makes it so when the Pokemon is at low health, they activate this new form and they get a supercharged power up. And this is dramatized in the anime, I guess specifically with Ash's Infernape, and that's like Infernape's entire personality, It's turning it's like theatrical, It's dramatic. It's like you're doing a battle, and instead of just pressing a button to get a power up and then one hit KO, it's like I like this because it kind of it is a power up that can be used to turn the tide of battle, but it's not a one hit kill button. You know what I'm saying? Because when you reborn, if a Pokemon faints and then is reborn, I mean, that is just so cool symbolically, right? And I honestly think that could tie in very nicely about what we've heard about the legendary Pokemon. This idea that you faint, right? Your Pikachu faints, and then a legendary spirit goes inside the Pikachu to reborn to recreate it, right? And listen, my whole theory is that the Windy Chew and Wavy Chew, I mean, this is literally so good. Windy Chew and Wavy Chew, I think these are dead Pikachu at this point. If this rumor is to be correct, these are like my whole theory is that the legendary Pokemon are within them, and now, you know what? Now I'm gonna double down on that. I just love this idea. A Pokemon faints, and then you're reborn with not just full health, and maybe you only have like half health, but you could have new stats. You could have maybe a boost to a specific stat or a new ability, and then talking about like a new, so these are reborn forms. So there's revived. So you can have, once they rebirth, they cannot switch out. Okay, that's a limit. So there's rebirth, but then there's a reborn form. Could the starter Pokemon end up with reborn form? I mean, I think that's so fun. That's so cool. And again, I think I love that it's like you have to get to a point in the battle to turn the tides of battle. And I like that as a gimmick. That's so much fun, and I kind of want to kind of reinterpret this. I kind of want to like dig into this a little bit later. I'm gonna keep going with the post, but like, I don't know. You guys let me know what you think about this reborn form. I think that's so much fun. I really do. Let's see. You have two rivals. Oh, and I guess the last thing I wanted to say with the reborn form, the reason why I can also believe this is because in Generation 9 we did get, what is it called? There's a new Pokemon move that allows, what is it, Helping Hand, or it's like Revival Blessing. I forget what it's called. But there's a Pokemon move that literally allows one of your teammates, your team members, to like be revived in battle, which was kind of OP and like never before seen then. And maybe that was a testing ground, right, for these reborn forms. Like Game Freak has all the data of like how we play and who uses what is revival blessings. Like maybe they can see how many people actually used it, if it was OP, and maybe they deemed, no, it's not that crazy. Dude, I love this. The reborn form, I love that so much. It lines up with what we've been talking about with the legends. But let's keep going. So you have two rivals. One is named Jasper, and the other is the gender you don't choose. Okay, so we're back. We're Jasper. Makes me think about ghosts, spirits. That's cool. I'm down with that. And I guess that makes sense. If the other rival is the character you did not choose, to me that reinforces that these are like individual characters. I like this. That's fun. That's fun. I like that. There's a cute interaction when you transfer a Pokemon from Fire Red and Leaf Green, as Professor Oak is a returning character. He looks much older now and has a cane. Oh, he's almost completely bald. He wears a black lab coat now with gold pockets. Let's do a little research. Let's do a little Professor Oak. Nope, not trainer card. Dude, Professor Oak is the GOAT. And you know what I love about this? This feels like an acknowledgement of the passing of 30 years. You know? Professor Oak, let's see. He's got these black eyebrows. He'll definitely have Groot. Or not Groot, Brout. Okay, so he's put up the white lab coat. He's got a black lab coat. I love the yellow little details. It's like the man is... No, I like that. I like that a lot. The man is like regal now, right? He's in retirement. But balding. I could also see that. He's going to have the bald spot. What do you guys think about that? I'd be pumped. But I love the idea of the passage of time. We saw that with Samson Oak and the characters Red and Blue in Sun and Moon during the 20th year anniversary. We do see those characters age up for the first time, right? A significant amount. 30 years later, right? If this game takes place 30 years after Red, Blue, and Yellow, Professor Oak is 30 years older. Maybe they want to say he's actually only like 20 years older. I'm not sure. They could kind of bend that a little bit. But I just love that so much. To have a character like Oak signify the passage of time. I'm so down for that. That's awesome. Instead of Pokemon and me, the interactions with your Pokemon team is hiking. You can set up a hiking point with your Pokemon and explore with them, almost like a mix of auto battling. That's fun. You can choose which Pokemon to lead the hike and play as them. That's fun. To play as them, that's giving me Synchro Machine. The Pokemon team is hiking. I like that a lot. You set up a base, and then you kind of would enter like a new mode. It almost feels like an extension of like the Let's Go feature in Scarlet and Violet, which I did enjoy a lot. I really wonder what they're going to be doing in Winds and Waves when it comes to the battle system. I've heard rumors that there's going to be a new system that'll be kind of a hybrid of the real-time and the turn-based, but this is also pretty cool. This is like setting up camp in Sword and Shield, but you can not just play with them, but then there's also a mode where you can battle with them, which is kind of fun. And I would imagine, yeah, that's a lot of fun. It's the Synchro Machine. I like that a lot. That's super fun. I really do like that. It feels like an integration of like those modes of play, like a me, but it's an integration of that into the overworld. So you're still like interacting with the world. That's fun. Like you could take your Pokemon and like swim underwater, I would imagine. That's a lot of fun. Excuse me, I'm yawning because it's 6 a.m. Sorry. All right. Finally, the new Pokemon. These picks are so weird, it makes me believe them. Pokemon Winds and Waves, it's coming out, 2027. We are 100% going to be getting new forms, new cross-gen evolutions. And this rumor is saying that we're going to get Orthworm, Liepard, Mienshao, Goldeen, and Claydol evolutions. Goldeen evolutions. That's a split evolution for... what's it called? Sea King. It's a split evolution, right? Sea King is going to go to the wayside. This is so crazy. Claydol getting a new evolution. I cannot even imagine that. Mienshao, love that so much. Give it a dragon type. Liepard is so sick. I like that a lot. It could turn into like a proper like panther. So much fun, man. And then Orthworm. Also, very weird Pokemon. From Generation 9. It says Goldeen looks like a giant koi fish. That's cool. Let's pull it up. Koi fish. Dude, I honestly like that a lot because Goldeen, I think I've always liked Goldeen. I think I've always liked Goldeen. Oh, wow. Sea King didn't do it for me, but this is sick, dude. Look at these giant... So, I would imagine it's a Goldeen, but it's more slender, and it's... I don't know what type it would become. Does it say? Oh, dude, it becomes Water Dragon. That is insane. That is so sick, dude. I love that so much. And maybe there's a couple different like colors that I could have. Dude, I love that. A Goldeen evolution that is Water Dragon type. And then it says Orthworm evolution into... So it gives a specific name. Orthworm evolves into Rustarome. Rustarome. We got Orthworm, like earthworm, and Rustarome. Interesting. Okay, earthworm. Okay, so this idea that if Orthworm is like a bus, but it's like a subway, but it's also a worm. It's a steel type. And I guess if you just hang out in the ground for too long, it would start to rust, which I kind of love. And Orthworm already has this like reddish color. So what could they do to the design? I guess like so he's so happy and jovial and young here. I guess I'm imagining him to be like kind of decrepit. Not decrepit, but kind of like starting to chip away and fall apart. I almost want to say steel. If it starts to rust, like Rustarum is the name. Steel poison, is that something we could be seeing? This is pretty tough. I actually like this a lot for Orthworm because I don't really care about the Pokemon, but if it evolves again, maybe becoming a little bit longer and then just starts to like get patchy hole. Like it already has holes, but to see it get like rusty holes, dude, Dude, and then what's it doing? What's it doing with like its arms? That's kind of fun. I don't like Earthworm that much, but an evolution I think could be really, really cool. Similar to what we got with like Onyx evolving into Steelix. I'm totally down. Oh, it says right here, it looks like a giant subway train with a giant midsection. Let's see. So maybe the midsection is just extended a little bit. A giant midsection, like a gut. It's got like a pot belly. And then it says sometimes it eats its own tail. Holy cow. So that's wild. Now I'm imagining it like making a circle, like biting its own tail, making a circle. And then I feel like that's like instead of a line, it is like it's a ring. It's like a circle. I don't really know. I'm kind of struggling to imagine this, but truthfully, I can kind of get on board. I think this is kind of fun. Man, earthworms are so weird. And they're always hanging out in the dirt, in the soil. I could see it like being like moist and then starting to rust. What do you guys think about this? Is this crazy? Mian Xiao, I think, would get a dragon type as well because it's like Kung Fu. Lipard is a dark type. Lipard, I like Lipard a lot. I imagine it's going to evolve into some sort of like, I mean, it already is kind of like a panther. Or a leopard. It's a leopard. But they could 100% evolve it one more time and make it a little bit tougher. I mean, I really, Lipard, I actually really do. I do enjoy this Pokemon. I like this a lot. To see it evolve again. Like, look at it hanging out in this tree. But in Gen 9, that's like kind of tough. And then we also have Claydol, which is so weird. It is based on, yeah, it's like based on these like old, I don't even know what they're called. It's based on these like old, like ancient human statues, and I guess there's gotta just be, oh, you know what this is? Claydol just gets feet and like proper arms. No, I like that Claydol floats around. But they would have to do something different to it to actually make it feel different. Like, think about King Gambit and how like Bisharp has agility. King Gambit is like always sitting. I feel like the move is to make the evolution not just a bigger Pokemon, but like a bigger version of the Pokemon, but to instead like build upon it so it has its own identity. Maybe this thing starts walking around. I don't know. Maybe it's like maybe it's so heavy that it can't float and it's just permanently on the ground, but it uses its eyes as like like a sentry. I'm not really sure. What do you guys think about this rumor? Do you think it's BS? They did predict the starters 12 hours before the game was revealed. So no questions. They saw, whoever made this post 100% did see this trailer ahead of time. But they might have just seen the trailer ahead of time. I guess that's the reality of this. Let me know what you think. This thing got me kind of hyped, not going to lie. These Pokemon, very cool. I love this gimmick. A new reborn form. Like, again, I didn't really say it, but imagine Infernape goes into Berserker mode like in the anime. But it, like, actually, like, honestly, let's look this up. Every single Pokemon gimmick takes something that already exists and it amplifies it, right? But reviving your Pokemon, the Blaze ability, let's see. I should probably type in Blaze, right? Anyways, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's Ash's Infernape. Let me know what you think. Do you think this is right or wrong? Subscribe if you're new. And let me know what you want me to talk about next. Bye.